Welcome today to Launch Your Career with LinkedIn. We'll be focusing on profiles, networking, and informational interviews, which is very useful for any of you that are in new student experience. So very useful for that. So using LinkedIn intentionally can have extremely positive outcomes. It can give you unique access to jobs within your industry. It can help you network with relevant professionals in your industry. It helps you speak to a captive audience, and it helps you increase your visibility to recruiters or hiring managers. So being able to master some of the functions that I'm teaching you today in LinkedIn will help you achieve all of these outcomes, which ultimately give you an increased control over your career, which is saying a lot because a lot of times the job search can be a really chaotic process. And so by using these functions that we'll go over today, you'll be able to take a little bit more control in that process and in that journey. The first way and easiest way that you can do that is by doing some simple profile optimization. So you may have gone over how to create a basic LinkedIn profile, but that is really just kind of it, a basic foundation. And what you really want to do is be able to brand yourself in a way that will communicate yourself as a young professional, because you're moving from student into the professional world. And so you really want all these hiring managers or potential recruiters or people who are looking at your profile to see you as a young professional in your industry. And so you want to utilize your academic experience, but you want to frame it as a professional opportunity. So internships and volunteer opportunities, those are great to be able to go in a professional experience section and really list out the very transferable, concrete professional skills that you gained in those experiences and places where you took ownership over those experiences that you can take then further into your career. If you had a significant project in class, that's a perfect thing to be able to utilize in an experience section. And again, framing it as a professional opportunity. So the same way you would on a resume where, you have your experience section and maybe 3 bullet points listing out what you did in that job, you'll do the same thing with a significant project you had in class. So for example, I was just talking to an AS drafting and design student who's going on to become an architectural drafter. And in their advanced AutoCAD class, they designed a blueprint of a house. And so why not utilize that as an experience section, saying exactly what you did, using these tools to create the blueprint, and then exactly what the outcomes were. So if you earned a good grade, if you were able to learn more about the professional process, then those are the kinds of things that you can expand on a little more where it relates to significant projects. Same thing with professional development. We have our career action distinction. So if any of you are part of our distinction program, that's a great thing to be able to highlight on a LinkedIn profile. And again, bringing in those specific skills and keywords that you learned in that experience as it relates to a professional opportunity. Honors and awards is also a great way to do that. And that doesn't only have to be related to honors and awards that you've earned in school. So this, could be in a significant club or organization that you've been a part of. If you had any sort of leadership position in a club or organization, that's really important to put in your experience section and list out in bullet points exactly what it was you did. So as an example, I was a treasurer for a student government organization while I was in college. And so rather than putting it just under my club experience, I put that in my professional experience section. And I titled myself treasurer with Student Government Association. So that was my boss, as it were. That's the person who I was working for. And I talked about how I created yearly budgets, how I dispensed money, how I worked with vendors, all of these things that are very transferable skills to a professional setting. So even though these opportunities weren't done for money and you weren't paid for them, they're really, really good ways to be able to show yourself off as a professional. And then the same thing with relevant coursework. I mentioned that earlier, especially any student who is in an AS degree or is learning some very strong technical skills in your classes, you can go ahead and put that in your experience section as well. To be able to frame it more as a professional opportunity. So if your professor was your boss, talk about the ways that you, met expectations for that class and the skills that you learned and took away from it. So the easiest way to be able to do this is utilizing industry keywords. So in your summary, experience, skills, and education sections, using keywords that are relevant to your industry. So if I was a website designer, I would include my programming skills wherever I could on my LinkedIn profile page, because those keywords drive the relevant traffic to your page, like recruiters and hiring managers, and increase your overall visibility. So it's really easy just to go into your summary or experience or skills sections and start putting in those industry keywords. If you're not sure what those industry keywords are yet, a really easy way to find out is just by Googling it. So if you know that you're going into mechanical engineering, you can just start Googling mechanical engineering skills or mechanical engineering resume, and start to kind of get an idea of what those relevant skills are. And that will be able to, again, drive traffic to your page so that when you are looking for jobs and recruiters and hiring managers are looking for talent, you show up in their searches. So this is the other best way to be able to really optimize that profile, is using as many keywords as possible. And then the last way is really utilizing your profile headline in a really powerful way. And so the headline is just that small little sentence beneath your name on your profile. So mine just lists my job title right now, career advisor at Valencia College. But the headline can be a great place to be very intentional if you're trying to be seen by a certain audience. So what I mean by that is when a recruiter or a hiring manager goes into LinkedIn and they perform a basic keyword search, it will default by the profile headline. So if I search electrical engineer, it will first show me all the profiles that have electrical engineer in the headline. So if you want to appear in a specific recruitment search, put it in your headline. So, for me, I'm happy as a career advisor and I want students to be able to locate me as a career advisor. And so that's why I have it in my headline there. So whenever you're ready to really crack down on a specific search, be intentional with your profile headline, and it can be a really powerful way to be seen. So once you are able to kind of optimize your profile in those ways by inserting those important keywords, being intentional with your headline, creating a really eye-grabbing summary, you're going to want to be intentional about who you connect with as well. And so if you're not necessarily sure on who to connect with immediately, like maybe you're still a little uncertain about your future job, you're not really sure, you're kind of exploring some different industries, then a great way to begin is connecting with your alumni networks. And so by going to Valencia College's page on LinkedIn, and then going directly to where it has those tabs, home, my employer, about, post jobs, alumni, you can then go to the alumni section and you can further narrow that down by job title. So if you wanted to look specifically at alumni who are industrial engineers, then you can search in that alumni tab for industrial engineers. You can also search by company. So if you were interested in working at Disney and wanted to look at alumni who were working at Disney, then you can search in that alumni section, Disney, and it will show you every profile that includes Disney in their profile. So that again is why those keywords are important, because lots of people are doing searches on LinkedIn for each other. They're trying to find each other, and you want to make it as easy as possible for the right people to find you. You can also connect with your professors or people in your chosen career path or job position. So another great person or group of people to connect with are recruiters, also known as like talent acquisition specialists or hiring managers. They have a few different titles, so you may have to try a couple in your searches, but they're the next best people to connect with, especially if you're being really intentional about finding a job. So I've listed here on this page a really easy way to connect with recruiters or hiring managers. Basically, you just go to a company's webpage. Here I did Advent Health as an example. You would go then to their people right here, and then search where it says search employees by title, keyword, or school. Those are just examples of search criteria, but you can search by job title and you can search recruiter. And then it will show you all of the recruiters at Advent Health. And then you can also connect with industry professionals by the desired job title. So I did here an example of a search through mechanical engineer. So you would go to the search bar on LinkedIn, type in mechanical engineer, and it's going to ask you what you're looking for. Are you looking for jobs, people, groups? And if you're looking for people, so you really want to connect with professionals, you might want to do an informational interview, or you just want to get an idea of what it's like to be working in this position. Then you search in people, and then it will show you, as you can see here, all of the people that have these job titles listed on their on their profile. And as you can see, it also, it does filter it by the headline, and then it also highlights areas in your profile where you list those skills. And so if I was a recruiter and I saw this, you know, and I was looking for mechanical engineers, I might go to James Medlin's profile because I can see that he has some more information about his job in his profile there. So that's, again, why those keywords are so important and why it really reemphasizes that you are a professional in the industry. And so you can further filter these searches by location, the current company they work at, or past companies that they've worked at. So if, again, you want to look at engineers with Disney, you can search by the current company or the past company, and then it'll further filter those out. So this is really the easiest way possible to be able to connect with professionals for those career interviews or informational interviews. So particularly if you have that assignment coming up in your new student experience class, this is going to be a screen to maybe take a screenshot of or really just pay attention to, because it's the best and easiest way to find professionals that you aspire to be. So LinkedIn Premium, when you are getting a little more serious about your job search and about your networking, it's a really good idea then to do a trial of LinkedIn Premium, because it will show you more specifically who exactly is looking at your profile and like what industry they're in. It will give you charts of what they're searching for. So for example, it will show me, you were found in 11 searches for career advisors this week, and then it will show me exactly who searched for me. And that's if I do a premium account. So that's a really good idea of when you're getting serious about your job search and really serious about connecting with professionals, then you can try premium. So I'm going to go over to LinkedIn now so that we can demo some of these skills that we've spoken about. All right, so the first thing that we talked about is profiles. So you can always go to your profile there. It's really easy to be able, like LinkedIn will prompt you to fill sections of your profile. So it's really easy to just go by exactly how they tell you to do it. So it'll, prompt you to put in your headline, all of that good stuff. And then you can also put, if you have a URL to maybe a professional portfolio, then that's a great place to also put that. And then you want to make sure that you can put as many, like I said, keywords in your about or summary sections, and then also in your experience sections. So this can match your resume. That's perfectly fine, but do make sure that you've gone in and done those keywords. So if you need any help at all with that, just come to a career advisor or come to the Career Center, and we'd be more than happy to help you with some of those keywords. All right, so first I'll demo how to connect with alumni. So again, we all went to Valencia College. And you can go over to this alumni tab here. And then we can really narrow it down by a lot. And we have a lot of alumni to be able to look through. And so we mentioned earlier, industrial engineer. So if somebody was wanting to do an informational interview, possibly with a graduate from Valencia, who is now working as an industrial engineer, then this is a great way to do it. And so you can go through and look at some of these profiles. You can see, you know, a mechanical engineer at Lockheed, where they graduated, and you can then send them messages to connect. So that's how you can do that. And then you can also filter it, like I said, by company. So if you wanted to look at only like the industrial engineers at Lockheed Martin that graduated from Valencia, it looks like there's 692 that have these somewhere in their profiles. So there's a lot of different ways to connect. And then, like I was saying earlier, for informational interviews, you can easily search in this main search bar. So if I just go back home, in this main search bar for lots of different things. You can look for specific profiles, companies, jobs, groups or associations, but then also professionals. So we showed you how to look in a company's profile for a specific job title, but here's how you can look very broadly. So again, we go to industrial engineering people, and then you can start to filter it by these filters up here. So connections, that means first connections means you are connected. Second connections mean you have a connection in common. And third connection means you don't have any connections in common. So a really great place to start is with your second connections. Because that means you have somebody in common. And then you can filter it by location. And then also company. So this now shows me 20 really targeted results for industrial engineers that live and work at Disney, so live in Orlando and work at Disney, that I could connect with and potentially talk to about their position. I can also just go to their page to be able to kind of get an idea of what it's maybe like, you know, what their job trajectory was like, so what their career trajectory was like. It looks like they had an intern opportunity that really helped them gain their professional opportunity down the line. So these are also great places to look just to get an idea of what those career journeys are like. So the last thing that I really wanted to show you was just the last little piece of networking that can be very beneficial when you are, again, being very serious about looking for jobs and maybe want to be able to give yourself a voice in the application process. And so as an example, when you go to look for jobs, so again, we'll just stick with what we've been doing, industrial engineer in Orlando. So you can search their jobs and it will show you, very like many other job boards, different, you know, job postings, things like that. And these are usually pretty up to date. So LinkedIn is a great place to be able to kind of surf the job boards. But again, when you're getting very intentional about your job application process. So let's say you were very interested in this position as a senior industrial engineer at Stephen Douglas. Obviously, none of us are senior engineers, but let's say we're at that point. So what it shows me, if I scroll down here past the responsibilities and everything, it will start to show me these highlights of ways that I have special connections to this job position. And so it shows that 2 people in my alumni network also worked at the place that I'm interested in working at. And so I could then go and look at their profiles and potentially connect with them, let them know of my interest in that position or just in their company in general. If you don't want to come on too strong all at once, you can, you know, connect with that person, let them know how interested you are in learning a little bit more about Stephen Douglas and making such a positive connection that inevitably word starts to get around. When professionals have really positive interactions with young professionals, they tend to talk about it with their teams, with their managers. And so if I, you know, talk to Janet or Giles here and had a really positive interaction, you know, showed them that I had some skills in some different areas of engineering and maybe I could be of use to them in the future. Then potentially one of them could go and talk to their hiring manager and say, hey, have you noticed Annie Curtis's resume in your pile there? Because I talked to them on LinkedIn and it was a really positive interaction and so and so and so and so. So that's a really targeted way to be able to talk to people who are connected specifically with the job that you're applying for. So that's just one way to get a very, very targeted, again, connection and interaction.